give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Giving double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth to rule well. Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6, the sons of Ham. All right, and that's who dwells in the land of Africa, all right, which we call Africa. Mind you, there are some Israelites that live in the land of Africa, but the majority being Hamites. All right, so it says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan, and the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ra'amah, and Sabtekah, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba, and Dedan. All right, it says verse 8, and Cush begat Nimrod. He begat to be a mighty one in the earth, and he was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. All right, it says, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, a mighty hunter before Yahweh. All right, so Nimrod, in verse 10, it says, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. All right, so Nimrod started his kingdom, all right, which it wasn't a righteous kingdom, all right, it was a wicked kingdom. So I have this article in drwoodhead.com. All right, it says, I'm gonna go up here. It says the cultic background. All right, it says traditions suggest that Nimrod died a violent death. One tradition says that a wild animal killed him. Another says that Shem killed him because he had led the people into the worship of Baal. All right, so Nimrod did send the people into a worship of a different deity. All right, the Babylonian religion is where these religions nowadays originated from. All right, they take a lot of things from that Babylonian religion and put it into their religion. It says, according to ancient Egyptian and Babylonian traditions, which were the land of Ham. All right, it says his mother was Semiramis. Sometimes Semiramis is referred to as a mother of Nimrod, and sometimes as his wife, leading to the belief that Nimrod married his mother, all right, which he did, and they had a child after Nimrod died. All right, it says also, according to these traditions, Semiramis, who rose to greatness because of her son, was presented with a difficulty when her son died. All right, that means she didn't have the power that she had when her son was in rulership, because they were trying to choose someone else to rule. All right, so she pronounced him to be a god so that she herself would become a goddess. You see, so this woman, Semiramis, which also is known as Isis, I believe, and also is known as Ishtar or Easter. All right, it's pronounced Ishtar, or it's written Ishtar, but the way you pronounce it is Easter. All right, so Semiramis was Easter, was Isis, and Nimrod was also known as a god, which he reincarnated into Tammuz. All right, and Tammuz also is known as Horus. All right, so all these deities actually tie in to each other. All right, and later on known as Zeus, later on known as Zeus, Uranus, and what was her name, Gia, were actually Nimrod and Semiramis, and then they had Cronus and so on and so forth. All right, so they're just really taken from the Babylonian religion for these things to take place, So I'm going to come back to this one. But it says, birthday origins. The idea of celebrating the date of your birth is a pagan tradition. All right, a pagan tradition. So pagan means heathen. All right, and like Yahweh Shem Yahushai had told us, don't go after the ways of the heathen. All right, so if you call yourself a follower of the Lord, then you shouldn't be celebrating your birthday. All right, that's number one. To prove that, I'm going to go to Genesis 40 and 20. It says, and it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. All right, so birthday, like we just read, was a pagan tradition. All right, and we read in Genesis 40 when Pharaoh celebrated his birthday, all right, which is in Egypt, which is in the land of Ham, like we read in the previous article. All right, it says, in fact, many Christians didn't celebrate birthdays historically because of the link to paganism. Pagans thought that evil spirits looked on the major changes, like the day you turn a year old, all right, or a year older, Salakia. So turning a year older, they believe that spirits lurked in those days, all right, which when I went from second shift to first shift, it was harder for me to jump back on the ball and make videos and keep studying like I was doing on second shift. All right, it was harder for me to do it after a while because of the change, which I can testify to that. But going back to Genesis 40 and 20, when it talks about Pharaoh's birthday, if you read it in Leviticus 18, it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. All right, so this is for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the ones that are mostly deep and mostly deeply into these religions. All right, going after these idols. It says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am Yahweh your power. All right, so that is who your power is, Yahweh, the Most High. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. All right, so all the things that they did in the land of Egypt, which we just read was a birthday party which was celebrated in the land of Egypt, you shouldn't do. All right, so you shouldn't celebrate your birthday, man. It says, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. All right, and let's look up that word ordinances. Chakwa. All right, it says statute, ordinance, limit, enactment, something prescribed. All right, so you reenact what they were doing in Egypt by celebrating your birthday. That's a pagan holiday. All right, it's a pagan wicked day. It's not a holiday because it's not holy. So going back to here, all right, it's talking about those spirits that lurked. Where did Valentine's Day come from? All right, did it come from the scriptures? Because that's what it would say if it talks about if it's not in the scriptures, it's not going to be brought up, man. All right, that's something that we have to do. But if it's in the scriptures, it's something that we have to do. If it's not in the scriptures, we shouldn't do it. All right, it says the first. Let me read from up here. The first Valentine's Day was in the year 496. All right, so it would have been written in the scriptures if it was something that we had to do. All right, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai never changed. So that would have been written from the beginning. All right, having a particular Valentine's Day is a very old tradition, thought to have originated from a Roman festival. The Romans had a festival called Lupercalia in the middle of February, officially the start of their springtime. All right, the middle of February, which would be February 14, well, what people celebrate now. All right, it says down here, history of Valentine's Day, December 22, 2009, Valentine's Day, a day of romance, which again goes back to Rome. Lupercalia survived in the initial rise of Christianity, but was outlawed. All right, so it survived throughout after the Mashiach Yahushai. It survived. All right, that pagan worship survived, even though Christians didn't celebrate it. The true followers of the Messiah didn't celebrate that stuff. All right, it said as it was deemed unchristian at the end of the 5th century, when Pope Galatius declared February 14 Saint Valentine's Day. All right, so you're just going after what the Romans did, man. All right, like Yahushua said, give that to Caesar what is of Caesar, and give that to the Most High what is of the Most High. And what is of the Most High? Not these celebrations, man. All right, the Negro, Latino, and Native American men and women need to be worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's what's for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, leave these pagan worshipers or these pagan holidays for the pagans. You know, so going to Halloween. It says, did you know, let me see, it says right here, by 43 AD, the Roman Empire, again with the Romans, had conquered the majority of Celtic territory. In the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, 2 festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebrations of Samhain. It says the first was Feria, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. All right, and in Spanish you have Dia de los Muertos, which I believe they said originated from Ireland. All right, which that's where the Romans took land from. All right, so going back to the Roman pagan traditions, the Roman pagan gods. All right, it says commemorated the passing of the dead, which is what people do, and they dress up as demons. All right, it says the second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. All right, so you're really worshiping these pagan gods, man. That's what you're truly worshiping in those days. All right, of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of the celebration into the Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. All right, so again, going into these pagan worshipers, pagan religions, which pagan means heathen. All right, so from there we'll go to Easter, which is coming up in April, and a lot of people love to celebrate those days, and they even got the kids so deep into these fake holidays, into these wicked days, into thinking that those days are good and those days are fun. All right, that's why Yahweh Shem Yahushai says in Ecclesiastes, spare not the rod. All right, we're supposed to be telling our children not to go after those days, just like we tell the people out there, the Negro, Latino, and Native American woman and man, all right, and particularly the man, we have to tell our children too, all right, ruling over our household. It says eggs occupy special status during Easter observances. They are a symbol of rebirth and renewal, all right, which people don't pay too much attention when they hear rebirth or renewal. They think it's something good, all right, but it's not, because you're actually putting a pagan holiday over something in the scriptures, all right, making it seem like that's the day for that. All right, that's like me or like somebody doing a wicked deed in one day and say murdering innocent or murdering many people, or murdering people or children inside of an orphanage and mass murdering all of them, and then placing a holiday over and say this is the day of Hanukkah. All right, that's wickedness, man. And that's what these devils have been doing. And that's what our people have been falling for. All right, that's why you think it's the so-called white man's religion. Because it goes back to wickedness, man. All right? Because the truth of the scriptures is not wicked, man. It says in this regard, it as a handy symbol for the resurrection of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right, but we know it's not. When does it say that in the scriptures? It doesn't say that at all, man. It says Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, all right, which is a Babylonian goddess, which is Semiramis, all right, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex, all right. Her symbol, like the egg and bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection? You see, it's telling you plain and simple, man. After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Yahushai, all right, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. But at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, all right, is all about celebrating fertility and sex. So there you go. All right, for these people that are going to be celebrating Easter, that's what it really means, man. All right. Now we can read back here. It says Easter, which was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex, after Constantine decided to Christianize the empire. It says Easter was changed to represent Yahushai, but at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, is all about celebrating fertility and sex. All right, we just read all that. This is an image. All right, it says Easter, goddess of fertility, and the rabbit or the bunny, which is a symbol of fertility. All right, and those two go hand in hand, man. All right, that's why you hide those eggs, and then you send the kids to go find those eggs, and you call that day Easter. You're going back to a pagan holiday. All right, Easter, the pagan goddess. You see, that's what you're really worshiping in those days, man. You know, let me go back to the first. It says, according to the ancient Egyptian